Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastically well. It is Connor here, and we are back with... I'm still not over it. I'm genuinely still not over what happened on Friday night. We are back with a review of the game at Molineux. Wolves 2, Leeds United 3. Yes, somebody please tell me in the comment section below when the last time Wolverhampton Wanderers conceded 3 in a game. I have no idea, but Leeds get the win in what can only be described as an absolutely mental game that some would say sums Leeds United up pretty nicely. And listen, is that the reason maybe I need to be a little bit more optimistic with it? Because Leeds just have that in their locker. And we've always, we know that as fans, we know Leeds have that in their locker. Just chaos, absolute chaos, which can disrupt an opposition's rhythm. And boy, did that happen on Friday night. I'm struggling to even comprehend what still happened. Went out on the beers on Friday, beers on Saturday, home Sunday, and I'm still just coming round now. So as I say, I hope you're all doing fantastically well. Leeds United 7 points off the relegation zone. So yeah, unbelievable. Let's get into your comments. Wolves haven't conceded 3 this season, let alone in the last 30. Yeah, brilliant stuff, Jack. Jack, I also saw that you didn't get a notification for this video, mate. Don't know what's going on there. Afternoon, Lee. All Leeds, aren't we? Says Alan. Gav, how you doing, mate? Hope all is well. Sad for Bamford. He looked gutted coming off. Yeah, I mean, we'll get into that in a bit. Get in there, lads, says Johnny. Afternoon, Dylan. Afternoon, Connor. Well, that certainly wasn't expected. Yeah, if you'd have caught my preview, you'd have caught my preview. I actually said at the end, I predicted a 1-1, but I thought it's going to be a really tough game. Wolves 8th in the division. Like, they are just such a difficult team to beat. In the last 5, they're the better team against Arsenal. Lost unluckily, in my opinion, 2-1. Lost out to West Ham but, they're a good team, aren't they? An extremely good team. Max, £15 donation or $14.99. Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Lemon says, good morning from New Zealand. Hello. Joe, calm down, my friend. Calm down, mate. Calm down. Massive Win says, Eddie in the building. Yeah, mate, huge. So let's get into this game. Guys, wow. I mean, I'll be honest, you all know me. That second went in, and we're going to get into the goals. But I was spitting feathers. I was absolutely raging. That first half was absolutely horrendous. Like, really, really bad. Shades of Villa. And I'm sat there in a bar in Sheffield, and I'm thinking, I've got a Scum fan next to me. I've got a Barnsley fan next to me. I'm thinking to myself, just take me home. I can't deal with this. I can't deal with it. You got people in the bar going nuts anytime anyone scores against Leeds in general. Any bar I'm ever in, they're always celebrating when teams score against Leeds. But yeah, and it was horrible. I actually had a Wolves fan next to me as well. So yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't ideal. But Connor, how do you move from depressed to elated in 90 minutes? Watch Leeds. Yeah, Stephen, I was like, as I was saying, Jonas in the building. Iceland is still recovering from that win. Yeah, it was chaos, wasn't it? And that first half, as I say, their best player, we focused on him in the match preview. Ruben Neves came off, and you're thinking to yourself, brilliant, that's great news for Leeds. They bring a guy on who's not got an assist all season. I don't think he scored. He might have scored one. I'll have to check that one out. But Francesco Trincao came on, and you think to yourself, okay, maybe we'll be able to shut this guy out. The best players come off, and what does Trincao do? He gets an assist and a goal, and it's just like it is Leeds in a nutshell. But that happens doesn't it? That happens so often. Teams, might be winless in however many players that haven't scored. They've not got assists. They've not got clean sheets. Come up against Leeds, and it all changes. But anyway, that by the by, the lineup initially we saw Rafinha out of the side, Joffrey was on the bench, and you're thinking to yourself, where's the threat coming from here? Quite nice to see Harrison and James on either wing. I quite enjoyed that because I thought to myself, well, we've not really seen that without Rafinha. It's been difficult for Leeds in general. With Rafinha. So without him, you're turning around thinking, goodness me, this is going to be a long evening, a long evening. And it sort of panned out all right. It started well. Like Leeds started all right. Bamford, I thought, was the focal point straight off the bat. Leeds playing the ball to him. I thought he was holding the ball up quite nicely. He has that massive chance, doesn't he? He has that massive chance, and he had the big chance against Norwich as well to put us 2-0 up and to make us comfortable. He missed that. Once again, the other night on Friday night, I think he had to score. He didn't. He hit he hit it round the other side, didn't he? Hit the advertising board, and you just feel it changed a little bit there. It swung. I believe Rodrigo or James had a really, really good chance as well. And you're thinking Leeds are creating, but Wolves were creating as well, and we can't ignore that. Wolves had some very, very good chances in that first half, and Wolves fans probably are turning round after that and thinking, it could have been a lot more than that. But Leeds did have the chances as well. They did have the chances. So Joe's in the building, says, Cresswell, what a unit. Yeah. Ted's in the building as well. USA fans still think second was Disney Fantasy and real game not shown. Yeah, maybe. Let's have a look. Can we talk about Klaassen? Yeah, of course we can, mate. We're going to get onto Klaassen in a little bit. I just want to go through the game chronologically, my friend, so we can experience it together. But yeah, as I said, lineup I wasn't massively enthused by it because I didn't know what Leeds would be like without Rafinha. And at the start of the game, we had a couple of decent chances, but I thought Wolves were definitely in the ascendancy. They were quite unlucky not to go in more than 2 goals up, but it started in the first half, didn't it? All the problems. I mean, straight off the bat, I think it was around about the 25th minute, we saw Bamford go off. Sam Greenwood come on. I actually tweeted it out. I had to get rid of the tweet, but I can't believe Joe Gelhardt's not come on. Then you realise, you think to yourself, is he going to bring Joe Gelhardt on with the problems that he's having with his back at the minute? No, brings Greenwood on. You're thinking, God, this is just really weak now. And just that's not a hindrance on or a slight on Greenwood. It's just the fact that he's not had many first team minutes coming on against Connor Cody, Max Kilman, Romain Saiz. It's going to be difficult for him to really do anything there. And there's a massive height disadvantage there as well. So, yeah, Bamford came off, and then a minute later, what happened? Trincao scored. Awful defending. Oh, God, everyone. The defending was so bad. It was so bad, wasn't it? Leeds essentially cut open. The ball's played over the top, and what do you see? You see, I believe it was Trincao, wasn't it, who just come on. Trincao gets the ball, marauds down the wing and plays it inside, and Llorente is so far away from Johnny, or, just the centre-backs are completely split up, and they've got men over as well. There's 2 men over, and you're thinking he's got the pick of the bunch here. Leeds are completely cut open. Dallas looked like he was caught too high, and it was an easy goal. It was easy. Wolves, that goal music as well. Techno every time Wolves scored. But yeah, listen, not a good goal to concede. Poor defending again on Leeds United's front. Too easy. I wonder if Johnny scored a goal this season. I doubt he has. But yeah, really, really poor. And yeah, 1-0 down, and you're thinking, goodness me. You're thinking we've got a real uphill task here. Wolves, what did we say in the preview, guys? If you check in on the preview I said you do not want Wolves going 1-0 ahead. The preview, I also said Ruben Neves could potentially dictate the game here because of his quality. Him going off was, as I've said, was a massive beneficiary to Leeds United. But then they go 1-0 up. Then on the 40th minute, Diego Llorente is substituted for Robin Cox. So now you're like, there's 2 subs down, 2 very influential players, even though I thought Llorente was at fault for the first goal, in my opinion. You guys might think I'm being a bit harsh there, but for me, he's looking at Trincao. Johnny's right next to him. He's got that open span to look at, and he doesn't think about closing down Johnny. It's very slack. And I do think there is a mistake, a fair few mistakes in his game at the minute. Then Obviously, Jimenez gets booked on 43 minutes. We'll get to that in a little bit. And then there was the additional time, everybody, the additional time. And then it all just kicks off again. It all kicks off again. Click has to come off. So we've made all 3 substitutions, although I believe that was a concussion substitute. It was a concussion substitution. So Click then comes on. Cresswell then comes on. So you've essentially got Greenwood, Cock, and Cresswell who've all come on for Bamford, Llorente, and Click. So everybody, and there's a few people saying Wolves fans were moaning in the comments on Twitter and all this sort of stuff. You can't moan when you're 2-0 up. You can't moan when Leeds don't have the likes of Rafinha, Bamford, Phillips, Cooper, Click, Llorente. All these players have come off during the game or haven't started the game. Literally, not even just 3 anymore, not even the spine of the team. Literally, our entire team, the quality within our side has just been ripped apart. So Wolves fans have got no excuses, really. And we'll get onto the 10 men thing in a little bit. But what I do want to say is who went to Man City with 10 men and won last year? Against the champions. We had 10 men after, I think it was 30 minutes. Centre back gets sent off. There is no excuses for you to concede 3 goals. You can't blame everything on the referee. Wolves' capitulation was nothing short of Disney-esque. It was fanciful. It was unbelievable. So yeah, poor. But you can't. Yeah, I think when you got 10 men, you have to be a little bit more compact. And I thought Leeds were excellent in the second half. So we're going to get onto that. Let's get in some more comments. Sam's come in and says Strauch and Llorente is a partnership for me. Interesting. Penny Lane, fantastic win as we have so many injuries. Yeah, 100%. Gordon says, hi, Connor. What do you think about Jimenez diving as Strauch gets booked? Oh, my God, this guy. What is wrong with this guy? He spends so much time on the ground. I mean, I'm in a bar with people who have no interest in Leeds. They're neutrals, and they're turning around to me and going, "This guy does not get off the floor. He's always." I spoke with Dave from Talking Wolves, and we had a little bit of banter before the game. But I said to Dave, "Your game management is unbelievable," and he went, "Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean." Because Wolves just love hitting the deck. They love hitting the deck and being in the referee's ear. Jimenez literally just dives. Strout gets booked, and then it leads to their goal, doesn't it? Leads to their goal. So yeah, Cresswell's an absolute unit, says Yorkshire Monkey. Commentator on Match Together. God, you can tell it's been a long weekend. On Match of the Day, accused Strauch of tripping up Jimenez. Did he? Oh, God. He didn't even touch him. Yeah, I mean, I thought the Match of the Day coverage was absolutely shocking. No context applied at all. And it was almost just like Leeds were lucky that there shouldn't have been a sending off there. It was far from that. Leeds were absolutely fantastic. We had our entire team missing. Injury after injury after injury after injury. Like, where's the luck? No luck, FC. And nothing like that was mentioned. It was just a comeback from Leeds. That was it. And I thought it was pretty poor coverage from Match of the Day, because I love Match of the Day, and I thought it was just pretty poor. So yeah, it was up in the air, but yeah, I mean, let's be right, it's a dive. So it should have been pulled back. Jimenez should have been booked. The refs should know. They should have form with this guy. He's always on the floor. He's always trying to throw himself about. He's 6'4", whatever he is, and I've never seen a softer 6'4" man. He's always on the deck. But yeah, and then we Pascal Strout gets booked. Obviously, that's where he gets the yellow card. And from that, I will say, everybody, it's 45 plus 11. And I'm turning around and thinking to myself, we've got to defend that better, haven't we? We've got to defend that better. It's a really quick kick. I can't remember who played the ball. It might have been Pedence. I can't quite remember. Played the ball down the side, played it back in. Leeds have got about 10 men behind the ball at this point. Trincao strikes it with his left foot, gets through about 3 or 4 bodies in the bottom corner. It's a good finish, but it's a shockingly bad goal to concede again. Leeds not switched on from the free kick. Wolves alive to it. And yeah, I just thought it was really, really poor from Leeds United. You have to be more concentrated there, focus. I always talk about it with you guys, don't I? Football IQ, getting your head back on the game. In that situation, you're about to get in 1-0 down. 1-0 down, it would have been a good result for Leeds at half-time, especially with the injuries that we had. Llorente going off, Bamford going off, 1-0. Okay, you regroup. It's going to be tough, but you regroup at halftime. To switch off like that from a free kick and for it to be that easy, 2 passes, it's in the net. So really poor. But then when you go in at halftime and you're thinking to yourself, right, okay, you're thinking to yourself, Connor, what other drinks are stronger than absinthe in this bar? And can you get a pint of it? Can you grab a pint of absinthe in this bar, just to alleviate me from the pain that Leeds have caused me? But that's the wonders, and that's why we follow football. That's why we get some people get so frustrated, like myself. Some people are critical, like myself. Some people are of a different mindset, but we all have that same love, don't we? Leeds United, and we all crave for them to do well. We crave and pray for them to do well. But yeah, overall, a really, really poor first half, and I thought Wolves would have been disappointed to go in 2-0, to be quite honest with you. Getting some of your comments. Anyone else getting frustrated with how the media are treating Jesse? Really getting bored of this Ted Lasso stuff. I love the huddles and feel good factor he's bringing. Yeah, I can't disagree with that, mate, to be quite honest with you. It's one of those where the media are always going to do that with an American. It's how it's always going to be. They'll keep making the puns as well. You forget till Bielsa left, there was still the bucket. Why can't he speak English? He's a bit weird, all this sort of stuff. The rhetoric like that, when I say a bit weird, they'd always point things out that Bielsa would do, and other managers would do something similar, and they would never point it out because they were well known, they were well known English coaches, they were media darlings or whatever. But when it's Bielsa, it was this must be a bit strange what he's doing here, but what's his tactic? Why is he doing this? People who don't like the purist way of playing, but they went after Bielsa really for 4 years. A lot of people said that they loved his style of play, but the English thing was a big thing, wasn't it, for his entire tenure at Leeds United. Big Badger said 8 minutes of it given and played 11. Yeah, true. Very, very true. Being a Leeds fan, and it's like watching a brilliant drama. It really is. Should Martino have been sent off? Yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, anyway, half time, we go in, we have to regroup. You're thinking to yourself, what is next? And then it all starts to let me know in the comment section below, everybody, what you think of this. Raul Jimenez, second yellow card. Wow. It was, you know what? I saw it initially and I didn't think to myself, that's a yellow. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be transparent. It's not Leeds fan. I'm going to say he should have been yellow card. But I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story that happened to me yesterday. We went into I can't remember. It might have been a shopping, might have been Meadow Hall or something like that. And I got chatting to a guy, and he's a big Sheffield Wednesday fan, another one who can't stand Leeds, obviously. And he's a referee. And we're chatting. I think we're initially chatting about boxing, but then we started talking about football. And he's a referee. And he went, "Did you watch the game last night? It's a bit chaotic for you." And I went, "Yeah, yeah." And I went, and he mentioned the Jimenez sending off, and I said, "Yeah, it changed the game a little bit, didn't it?" And he turned around and went, "It's 100% a yellow, 100% a yellow." And I was like, "Really? Is that what you think?" And he went, "Yeah." He actually said he was sat with a couple of his mates who are also referees, good standard referees in non-league, who watched the game, and straight off the bat, they all said it's a yellow card to Jimenez. So I just found that interesting. I found that really, really interesting. How that was their initial reaction. Not a yellow card to Meslier, a straight yellow card to Jimenez. At the end of the day, he could have slowed down his run. Of course, he could have done. He had eyes on the ball. He did, but it's a letter of the law. It doesn't always have to be deliberate, does it? So, yeah, I mean, I completely get the yellow card. I do get it. And I thought there was actually some worse tackles from certain individuals later in the game, which from the Wolves side, that should have been a straight red, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, I'm just going to get in some of your comments. Joe Matthews has said, it's a clear yellow. Meslier got there first, and such is deemed the player in possession. After you simply treat it as Raul running through the man on the ball, clear yellow. Yeah, exactly. And that's it. When you boil it down to the basics of it, Mele's got there first. You've seen it. He's got the ball. The ball's been kicked. Jimenez then catches Meslier. So it's mistimed, misjudged. So it is a yellow card. Like initially when you see it, you just think it's a 50-50. But even if it's a 50-50, it can still be a yellow card. Depends on who got there first. That's the way football works. Just because you didn't think it was a malicious tackle doesn't mean it's not a yellow card. It's not how football works. So yeah, Jody in the building has said Jimenez's foot comes down on Melier's right thigh. That's probably why the ref saw it. Okay, I didn't see that. After the replay, I thought the ref was just going to give us a free kick and play on. I didn't expect the card either, mate. I really didn't. Second time Wolves have been stung by his due to time being added on by them and diving and time wasting. Sweet justice for him to get up and say that's sweet. Yellow card. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. Mr. Yorkshire Monkey, I said, if it had been the other way, Meslier would have sent off. Oh yeah, if Meslier hadn't got there on time, if it had been the other way around, if he'd have got there before, he'd have got there before Jimenez, you've got no complaints. You've got absolutely no complaints. It's a yellow card. It's ill-judged by Meslier if he's done that. But he simply got it first, hasn't he? He's got the ball first. Wolves, yeah, it was funny watching the coaching staff kicking off. Yeah, Jesse, I don't know if anybody got it, but Jesse was going off throughout the entire game. He was going off the entire game, and I absolutely loved it. I love that SHIT Housery. It's brilliant to see. But anyway, what else? So we'll get into more of the match facts as well. So Jimenez is sent off, and then we have the occasion, obviously, because Jimenez is pretty much he's ran straight into Meslier. Obviously, Meslier is then substituted. So Leeds have had 4 substitutions, and it's looking pretty chaotic at the minute. It's still 2-0, but Leeds don't have a team. You know, Leeds literally don't have a team, and this is another thing people aren't talking about, really. It's like 10 men. Leeds have got, when was this event? So 10 men. Leeds have got 35 minutes to go. 35 minutes to go. This is why it's an incredible comeback. There's no time, really. We've got 1 extra man, but we've had 4 players substituted off. 4 of our best players have been substituted off. We've had 3 players who haven't started the game, who are arguably our best players in Rafinha, Liam, and Calvin. So, you're looking at a 7-8 player swing there. Wolves nowhere should have given that up, and that's why it was absolutely brilliant by Leeds United. That is the hysteria that this club brings, even though it kills me and it kills a lot. Like I've had a headache for 2 days, and no, it's not a hangover. It's not a promise. It's Leeds United. This is what Leeds does to you. The Leeds United hangover. That should be a thing. Should bottle that up. On the bench, it was like a hospital ward, almost funny. Yeah, 100%. Did you see the kickoff between the 2 benches? Couldn't tell from the TV. Was Jesse Wind? Well, from what I'd seen when it was flashing down to him, what I was reading on Twitter, because I was having a look at the Wolves hashtag as well. A lot of Wolves fans at the game was just saying Jesse was just going at their bench throughout the entire game, which I love, and it'd have been interesting to hear that. But then obviously it blew up when Leeds scored, and I think the benches went on the pitch and all this sort of stuff. It was fantastic. And don't undermine this, guys. 2 last-minute winners in 2 games is massive for the confidence. 2 unbelievable moments, unbelievable Premier League moments again. And as Carragher said, scenes. So listen, that's going to do wonders for the confidence as well. So it was brilliant to see. Yeah, and this is the thing, Eric, love how they were singing Leeds are falling apart again just before half time. Yeah, there we go. We get that all the time. It's a risk nowadays, though, isn't it? Because I think Norwich was saying the same when it was 1-1. So anyway, Meslier came off. Klaassen came on. Shout out Klaassen. How many times have I said it on this channel? Again, listen, he's only had 1 game. He only had, 32 minutes of football-esque. But when I've watched him for the 23s, put it this way, that performance of the day was the best performance I've seen from Christopher Klaassen. Seemed like the stars were aligning for that match. But Klaassen, yeah, he's not been unbelievable in the 23s. I'll put it that way, and that's putting it nicely. But the stature of the man, I thought he came on. He was confident. He was talking to his back line. Loved his celebrations at the end as well. Thought his kicking was a little bit soft. It was a little bit all over the place, but who cares? Who cares? He pulled off 2 really good saves, and he looked like a natural in there, didn't he? He looked like a natural. If you're Wolves and Leeds have had about 54 players subbed on and subbed off, and you've got Klaassen making his first team debut, by the way, first team debut. Nobody's talking about that. We might have had 11 men, but we've got children once again coming off the bench, and yeah, I mean, if you Wolves, you turn around and get shots on target. And I've seen this as well. It's like Leeds had 11 men, but we were still able to cut them apart. Well, yeah, because the nucleus of the team's not there, and we do that anyway. It's risk and reward football, isn't it? But the team was completely obliterated. So at least Wolves were still able to keep that structure. So Klaassen had a very decent play against under-23s, yeah, against Scum. I was told that he was very, very good in that game as well. So that's brilliant. Fantastic for him. When Klaassen came on, I said he wasn't even good for the 23s, and he saves as many times. He was. Gamer guy Ethan says Klaassen was so good as well. Decent save by Klaassen, says Riot, but he'd have been disappointed if he'd have let him in. I agree with that. I think at the end of the day, if those chances saved, they have to be saved. But I think it's doing that in a big game, when you've got a lot of pressure on you. Sorry, I think you get a lot of keepers maybe folding there a little bit, youngsters anyway. So then what happens? So Jack Harrison scores. Ping pong. Luke Ayling gets the ball, smashes it against the post. I think it was Connor Cody or Saiz. They sort of under pressure from Ayling on the rebound. They sort of just pass it back. to the goal mouth, and it's kicked out again. And then really good anticipation by Jack Harrison 2-1. And you're thinking, okay, well, this is interesting. This is interesting. We've got about 25 minutes left, and it's 2-1, and Wolves have got 10 men, and they look a little bit. And Wolves, for me, that Leeds were that second half anyway, just a little bit before the Jimenez sending off as well. I thought we're putting some nice passages of play together. It was definitely an improvement on what we saw in the first half. A few nice passages of play, but I thought we were really starting to grow into the game. Confidence, as I always say with you guys, I think the mentality of this squad can sometimes be a little bit fragile, and we saw that in the first half. But when they get a little bit of confidence, when they get a sniff of blood, they really grow into it. And I thought, in that second half, we're absolutely completely the dominant side. I think we created. I think we really took advantage of the man. The man being sent off. But I think there'd have been an improvement anyway, even if Jimenez had been up front. But the XG, I think, was 3, which is the highest of the season, I think, overall. So that was brilliant. Harrison scores, and then an absolutely unbelievable. I don't even know how to describe our second goal. It was just absolute chaos, wasn't it? Dan James, nobody's talking about this as well. Dan James's effort. That effort was incredible. Ball comes over, like on the volley, left foot, lobs. Jose Sarr, who's been unbelievable this season. Unbelievable. Like literally the bargain of the season, Sarr. But he'd lost his head in this game, Jose Sarr. We completely bottled it. Ball came over. Great little lob by Dan James. Hits the bar. So unlucky. It'd have been an incredible finish. Then he on the rebound, I think Sarr actually makes a good save. Spins out to the right. And for some reason, you're thinking that Saïd's just going to, clear it up the pitch, volley it up the pitch, maybe take it down, just play it down the wing. He volleys it up into the air. Sam Greenwood, fair play to him, bodies him, really does. Like, you watch his body position there, Saïd should not have lost that. Sort of Greenwood backs into him, puts him a little bit off balance. Saïd gets a nice little touch to it. Rodrigo goes through. Sarr comes out again. Rodrigo takes it past him and pings it in with his left foot. And as Carragher said, and I've already mentioned, absolute scenes. And it was in the away end. You could hear it. I'm absolutely sprinting up and down a bar. Lost my phone, by the way, guys. Got it back, though. Don't worry. But in the celebrations, amidst the celebrations, I lost my phone. It was chaos. It was just, and, that comes over you, doesn't it, being a football fan? And it was what a moment. And Rodrigo's going to the away crowd like that. Better celebrations than Aylin's, by the way. I'm going to get on. Some of you might have liked that celebration. I wasn't a big fan. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant in terms of that. Leeds are back in it. It's a couple of people coming in, guys. Hello, thank you. I'm still buzzing. All Leeds, aren't we? Remain can't defend. Yeah, God, awful, absolutely awful. So yeah, anyway, Rodrigo gets booked 67th minute, 74th minute. Cresswell is booked as well, and then I think Hwang came on, and then there was additional time, 8 minutes, and you're thinking, is there a chance? Is there a chance Leeds could nick this? Lee as well. Guys, there's nearly 900 of you in here on a Sunday, on a lovely Sunday. Do us a favour, for Leeds United, for the channel, give us a like. It means a lot. I wasn't able to do it on the night, but I had to. And there will be a debrief tomorrow. I know that'll excite you all. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. Like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you're doing all that good stuff. But yeah, and then at the end, once again, it's chaos. Free kick comes in. It's an awful free kick. It's a really, really bad free kick. Goes to the back post. Aylin does really well, hooks it back. Strout kind of stands there and he's just a bit of a nuisance. I think it's next to Willy Bolly, who just literally is watching the ball. He's ball watching the entire offensive attack. Offensive attack. The entire phase of play, I should say. That's what I want to say. Phase of play, he's just stood there ball watching. And then Aylin gets it, and it's a lovely finish through the keeper's legs. Delirium. And that celebration, I don't know. Right, for me, you got to do what Joffrey did and what Rodrigo did. I love Rodrigo's celebration. For me, I'm scoring a last-minute winner, everyone. I am bombing into the crowd. I'm giving it a swan song. One of them dives, you know what I mean, into the crowd. That's what I'm giving it. I don't know about you. Get it in the comment section below. What would you do if you got a last-minute winner for Leeds United in any scenario? But I'm bombing into the crowd. He does that cartwheel thing, and it takes all the energy out of it. The Leeds players stop. They're looking at him like, what's he doing? Obviously, he's doing the Robbie Keane, and he'll never do it as as good as Keno. But yeah, listen, brilliant scenes, and Leeds players going nuts. Cresswell's going balmy. Dallas is going nuts in the middle of the pitch by himself. I think he ran up, sprinted by the Leeds fans, then he came back. But yeah, I just O'Connor, build the joke, let him have it. Yeah, listen, I just wanted to dive. I just wanted to dive into the crowd. I loved Rodrigo's. I loved it. But listen, I thought Luke was brilliant. I think Luke's been really, really good since Jesse's come in. Another man who has been excellent since Jesse has come in, apart from one game, I'll say Aston Villa, but no one needs to know about that, was Rodrigo. Brilliant again. Amongst chaos, I thought he was the calmest person on the pitch. A lot of really nice touches, playing through the phases. And I just thought he was really good. A real calm head, a lot of technical ability, where I think Wolves were definitely struggling with him in the second half. And another goal for him. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love that. And hopefully he's gaining a little bit of confidence now. Maybe that chat him and Jesse had has really helped him out, where they got everything out on the table. And yeah, excellent. Just wanted to shout him out, to be quite honest with you. I thought he was brilliant. Yes, Toto. We'll get into this, shall we? We'll get into this. 100% a red card. A stone wall red card. It's a horrendous challenge. And he was moaning and crying in the referee's ear all game, this guy. And it is 100% a red card. It's up Dallas's calf. Its studs are showing. It's reckless. It's 100% a red card. Ref bottles it. I don't know if it goes to VAR. I'm not really sure what goes on. So horses for courses. If Jimenez is to stay on, if you turn around and saying, well, that's not a yellow card, which I do believe it was, that is a straight red. So we've not really been lucky there. We've also got about 54 injuries. So, it's one of those where I don't think you can call Leeds lucky in that game. We might have got the rub of the green, but, we deserve that. We've not had it all season. So, Andre, thank you so much, mate. Really, really appreciate that. But yeah, no, not for me. Not for me. Can anybody come back on and say that's not a red card? It's a stonewall red. It's an awful tackle. So yeah, Leeds score, absolute pandemonium. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out Ayling in particular. Rodrigo, I thought was fantastic. Calvin Phillips, special shout out to you, mate, because basically anytime Leeds scored, he was just running up. He was running up. He was giving it the big one on the sideline as well. And it's going to be great to see Calvin back in a Leeds shirt, hopefully, for the Southampton game. But yeah, the positive news as well was that after the game, it seems like Bamford's all right. Click, it was a bit of a well, he's got a black eye, hasn't he? So hopefully he'll be fine for the Southampton game. Llorente, he didn't really give much depth on Llorente, so that'll be interesting to hear. And Meslier, it looks like he just needs a bit of a rest up. So we've got 2 weeks now to get back on it. KP did get a booking, yeah, he did, which is fine. But yeah, I'm just going to read through a few comments, guys. Do you think he doesn't give a red because we scored from it? Potentially, mate, but that is the letter of the law. If we're looking at a yellow card for Jimenez for just essentially mistiming his tackle, his run, really, and hitting Meslier, consequently Meslier going off injured, when you're actually putting in a reckless tackle like Matinho did, no matter if we scored from it, that's getting pulled back and it's a red card. It's a red card all day long. So yeah. Toto, that's correct. Llorente has a back spasm apparently, so that should be fine. I have a lot of back spasms myself, and they're all right after a couple of days. So Andre is back in the building. Thank you for that, mate. Really appreciate it. Thoughts on Harrison's limited celebrations? Probably just nerves, mate. Probably just pure nerves, thinking to himself, are we going to concede again? But no, Jack, I thought he was really good in the second half, but he's probably just exhausted, mate. Leeds are draining us all, aren't they, at the minute? But overall picture, I would like to say that I did not expect that. I did not expect that as a result. I thought it was a shocking first half. Second half, so much better. But it doesn't matter at the minute. It's all about results now, everybody. Leeds 7 points clear now. If we can, for someone who, even as after the Norwich game, isn't fully convinced we'll stay in the division, for someone like me to see a result like that, 3-2, that's massive. That is absolutely massive for Leeds this season. And I don't think any of us really expected that. So what I'm trying to say is if Leeds can now build on that, get some players back, get some of our big boys back. Looks like Raf's going to be fine as well after the international break. It's going to be interesting to see if he does feature, because I think he's going to be back from Brazil a day before, might be 12 hours beforehand. We saw with Bielsa. Bielsa played him, didn't he? The last time he did that, I think it was Southampton, wasn't it? Oh, no, he didn't. He came and sat on the bench, didn't he? That was the whole criticism. 1-0 awful performance, and Raf just came and sat on the bench. So that's going to be interesting to see, because, will he feature against them? But if we can pick up some points in that game and pick up some points in the Watford game, we've got to be targeting 6 points, 4 points minimum. I know I always say that, but we have. And then if we do that, we're looking good. We're looking really, really good. Then we've got 4 tough games coming up after that. I think we've got Chelsea, Arsenal, City, and then we've got Palace away, intertwined with that as well, which is their 4 horrible games. They're 4 nasty games. But Leeds have given themselves an incredible chance right now, a really, really good chance. And I tell you what, if you're Watford and Burnley, you're looking at and thinking, blooming heck, that's not good. It's been a bad week for us. Loads of your comments coming in, guys. Joe Griffiths, I hope I've just answered that, mate. Hope I've just answered that. Are we staying up? I think now we've given ourselves, I'm going to be a politician. I think we've given ourselves an incredible chance now with that, near 30 points. And I think we just need a couple more wins now, and we should be safe. It's just whether or not Leeds can get those couple of wins in. And with 9 games to go? Is it 9 games? 8 games to go. You've got to be expecting it. You really have. Thoughts on Jesse saying KP was never going to play? Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Where I think I've said it before. It's more about morale. It's more about having someone there on the bench. The opposition seeing that Calvin potentially could come on. Is that going to manipulate how they start? It's all about a psychological gain. Having players on the bench who aren't going to play. It's a psychological thing. I've spoken to a couple of football coaches about it before, to be honest, and it's a purely psychological thing. So I didn't mind it, and he'll be earmarking Southampton. That's what Marshall will be doing. Be earmarking Southampton. He'll be think Patrick, Liam, Calvin, which is great. Paul, thank you for your donation, mate. Really appreciate it, because everything I do here, I have subscriptions for StreamYard. I have subscriptions for Adobe Premiere Pro, all this sort of stuff where I try to do some editing of the videos and all this sort of thing, which I pay for off my own back monthly. So any sort of donations like that really, really help the channel. It all goes into keeping these things running. So I really appreciate it. Wolves fan here. Why does it need to be a yellow for either player when Jimenez got his skull fractured by David Luiz? Nobody gave David Luiz a yellow or red because Jimenez won the header before him. Paul, I wouldn't argue that David Luiz shouldn't have had a yellow card for that or a red card for that. I think it's one of those where when you just boil it down, Paul, at the end of the day, it's a yellow card. It just is a yellow card. I think when you go in like that, obviously Jimenez went off injured in that game, obviously with a fractured skull. Meslier also went off injured. I think there's always going to be a repercussion. It is a lot may say it's a 50-50. I do think that, but the letter of the law, it's a yellow card. And as I said, if you have just joined, mate, I was speaking to a couple of referees about it yesterday when I was out and about, quite ironically, just randomly bumped into them and was speaking to them. And they said straight off the bat, it's a yellow card, 100%. It's a yellow card. So I've said before in the stream, if it had been Meslier doing the same thing to Jimenez, if Meslier had been late on Jimenez, I'd have said it's a yellow card. It's stupid from Meslier. It doesn't have to be malicious, doesn't have to be deliberate. It's just the letter of the law in football. If you're late, it's a yellow card in certain situations. And I do feel in that situation, the impact as well, for me, it was a yellow. After watching it back, looking it back, no bias. I'm probably the least biased fan you'll ever meet. And I'm sure all my followers and subscribers will tell you that, because I do try take an objective point of view. I have looked back at it, slowed it down, and it is a yellow for me, mate. It really is. But thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. And look, a lot of people don't think it was. Personally, I don't think the Jimenez challenge was a second yellow, but the Matinho challenge on Dallas was a straight red. There you go. Listen, it's up in the air, isn't it? A lot of people don't think it was a yellow. I do think it was a yellow, and I would have get. I mean, Jimenez, Matinho's is just a red card. All ends up. So I don't know why gets away with it. But at the end of the day, it's a brilliant win for Leeds. And that if you are a Wolves fan and you are in here, it's a brilliant win for Leeds, because Wolves are a good side. Wolves are a very good side. And I don't think there should be bitterness, really. I think there's a lot of Leeds fans who appreciate Wolves. I think everybody gives them respect. But it's a good result for us. And it's a passionate one for us as well, because all we want is to stay in the division. That's what, and we need results like that. So it's been an absolutely balmy couple of weeks, hasn't it? But guys, there is 890 of you in the building. I've been going 4 minutes. I've been Conor McGilligan. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as you can see here on the green screen. Make sure you do that, and have a great weekend. It's sunny. Get yourself out for a walk. Have a beer if you want. Have an orange if you want. Just chill out. And there's some football, isn't there? We can just sit back, kick up, and relax right now. So everybody, I'll be back with some more content tomorrow. The debrief is back. Thank you so much. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as I keep saying, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.